What is it?
Was that a ninja?
More like a nanja. Terrible what passes for a ninja these days.
All that matters is power and the unassailable might of money.
Get that weak shit off my track!
You don't climb into a T-180 to be a driver. You do it because you're driven.
You heard it up top. Here we come. Here comes a podcast because we're talking about the old school Japanimation classic that defined a generation. That's right. It's Speed Racer here on Normies Like Us with your hosts. I'm going to be Podcaster X.
Ooh, okay. I'm just going to be Mike Racer.
This is Jake Racer.
Nice.
What's up?
We love racing.
Papa Jake Racer.
Yeah.
Pops,
you're
yep.
little Jake Racer with your monkey friend.
I would be the
Spritle.
mechanic. What's the mechanic's name?
Oh, the mechanic
Spritle?
Sparky. Sparky's the mechanic.
Sparky.
Yeah. Speaking of Sparky, nice. Sparks were flying over here today, as you guys know, off pod. I had an exciting day. My building caught on fire, but luckily nobody got hurt, and it got taken care of, so we're able to make it. I think it was some of those fixers are out to get me because they know I know too much about Speed Racer.
almost in a curse level, a little bit of behind the scenes. Everybody does so much for this podcast, the different roles. Mike, you edit this thing. Jacob, you sort of like program us out and stuff.
That's the video.
And we get this sort of like blind spot where it's
I do the
like,
videos too. I edit the video podcast.
Yep.
Not that it's that much work.
Sparky.
Mike does most of the work.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. But we get this one blind spot where it's like we get an opening and Mike's like, "Oh, my dream. I just want to. Would it be all right if I, did a little topic for an episode?" And Jake and I were like, "All right, Mike. We'll let you have your thing." And to reward you for that, God sets your building on fire to basically try to stop you from talking about.
Yes,
this.
They're trying to silence me, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and also to give a little context, so obviously, Speed Racer, you watched it recently. It's recently in the zeitgeist because there's been a 4K IMAX remaster that's back, or theatrical re-release. And of course, now we have a friend named X Kaita, very good friend of ours. Hashtag
Racer
TGX.
X Kaita.
Racer X Kaita. He has artwork on some of his albums where he's hitting the Speed Racer pose. It's his favorite movie of all time. He loves this movie.
His favorite movie of all time. Yes. So you watched it in solidarity with him sort of. Because when was the last time that you saw it before recently?
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, I had always written this off in the time that it came out, 2008. I didn't really have much affection for the cartoon. I knew the cultural osmosis, but I never gave the movie a shot because I'm like, why would I be interested in a 1960s racing cartoon adaptation? I just never thought I would like it, but in solidarity of the re-release, I watched it, and I was really impressed by it. And then we had this opportunity to talk about it. There's a new 4K Steelbook that's being released and all that, and I have been in racer mode ever since then. I've even watched every episode of the cartoon. I am here for it at this point. Well, so how about you guys?
Well, yeah, because, X Kaita, I call him my lord because he is a lord to me.
He's a lord.
He's been talking a lot about this, and he wanted to, he was like, I got to see this in the theaters with the re-release and stuff. And then he was saying that there wasn't a location in LA, which I don't know if that's true. Maybe he just wasn't before they announced those locations. But so hopefully he got to see it. For me, it's interesting because I have sort of a childhood memory of I had the old Speed Racer anime recorded on VHS. My parents somehow had these recorded on VHS, probably not every episode, but I distinctly remember watching this cartoon as a kid, and it was in black and white on my recording. I know it wasn't black and white, so it must have been recorded on a black and white TV, and it had with like original commercials in between, like during the commercial break. So it was recorded like straight from the TV.
Right.
And this is a distinct memory I have as a child of watching these VHS Speed Racer episodes. So I'm very familiar with this franchise just because I was like, well, obviously it's normal for, you know, a 6-year-old American to be watching these cartoons from the 60s on
Any
VHS.
context?
Yeah.
Any context on why the tape was made, Jacob?
I would have to ask my mom about it or something because
Yeah,
I just
I'm
have very
curious.
distinct memory of watching. Basically, we
Put on your
everything we
show,
watched.
Jacob.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we had everything on VHS, and we had my parents would do this thing where we had a VCR with 2 slots, right? And so we
Yeah.
would rent movies from the video store, record them onto a blank VHS, and then send them back.
Absolutely.
Technically
Classic.
piracy, uh, but
You
we
know.
weren't reselling them; they were only for personal
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
So
And then you
that's
put
just
them in
how I
that
watched
race
everything.
car rewinder
Yeah.
that everyone had.
So I would just watch everything on old VHS, and that's how we had a chest full of these VHSs with little labels on them saying like, "Oh, this is the Aristocats," another movie I loved as a kid.
Mhm.
This is Speed Racer episodes, whatever. And that's just how I watch things. But for some reason, it was in black and white. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So were you then driven? Did you see this to see it in theaters, like as a ancient
No.
fan? No, you did not.
No, I didn't see it in theaters, although I have seen it a couple times since it came out. Most recently, I watched it today, but before that, I watched it in 2023. Logged it on Letterboxd because I looked up my Letterboxd review. I gave it 3.5 stars the last time I watched it back in 2023, which I think is a fair rating.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. But I mean, yeah, I've seen it a couple times, and I have mixed feelings on it because there's some parts that I really like, and then there's some parts that it sort of oscillates between this is like insane and this is insanely bad, a lot.
Okay,
But,
fair.
for the most part, I enjoy it. I'm glad that it exists more than anything, and I think it's sort of the Wachowskis' magnum opus, which is crazy to say because they made The Matrix, but
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
it really.
In fact, Jacob, it's the craziest thing to say.
Yeah.
Because I think it's thematically it sums up everything that they believe throughout their career, and like they even said, like if they wish they could remake the Matrix with newer technology than when they made it, because they didn't have the technology to make it exactly how they envisioned it. I think this movie, even though it came out in 2008, might look different if they made it today. They did have more of that digital technology, so they were able to fully put their vision out, whatever you may think of it, the good and the bad. So I think I'm glad it exists.
It's interesting. It has been kind of reclaimed. It didn't do well when it released in 2008. Like, it was kind of this panned project. Nobody understood it, but it has had this kind of resurgence of people kind of finding it as a cult classic, and that was kind of how I was approaching it. But Colin, what's your history with the Speed Racer movie?
And I also want to just say real quick that because of this re-release online, I was seeing a lot of people talk about it online, film Twitter and stuff. So I think it has been reclaimed as a cult classic. I agree with you there. And unappreciated when it was released. But Colin, I want to hear your history with this movie.
Yeah.
Well, my history with the property first of Speed Racer is just that we just watched it one day on like a summer afternoon. Like, I think it was just on Channel 27 Cartoon Network. And my brother and I just watched it. And then we ended up renting the PS1 video game. I don't know if you guys ended up ever like playing that.
No, I saw some footage though. I want to maybe emulate it and check it out. It looks interesting.
It was impossible to play, Mike. The controls were so complicated to use any of the gadgets, from what I recall. I remember being broadly disappointed.
Bummer.
And is this an Unk take, real quick, before I go on to talk about the movie? Are we the last generation that just like found things like that? I just channel surfed and we just found this, or that Jacob just like had like a magic tape of it, just like, and then like you would just like come across it, and half the draw was it was a weird thing, and you would bring it up and hope someone else would know what it was. Or, and I truly believe characters like Racer X, who had like Mass or even like Home Improvement or whatever, characters where you didn't see characters' faces, you would hope as a kid that you would chance upon the one where you would see that person's face, so you could say to people you knew, well, have you seen the one where you see their face finally? You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Oh, for
And
sure.
you just couldn't look it up on like Wikipedia or something. Like you wouldn't just then be able to Google
Right.
like, oh, what does the guy from Home Improvement look like? You know, it's
Right,
like,
right.
you just didn't know.
Yeah.
I think we are the last generation as millennials
Yeah.
because we're the last generation to grow up without streaming, and streaming kind of
Yeah.
changed everything from
Yeah.
we would just turn on the TV and catch a random movie on
It's,
you know,
what was
TBS or
I
something.
found Pokemon. That's how I woke up
Wow.
early one day and just Pokemon was on one day and I was like, what
Yeah.
is this? Like
There is-
it's just like that changed my life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that Speed Racer could have been that.
Yeah, there's that
And I
like
miss that because now with
Yeah.
with streaming, there's just like an intentionality of whatever you're watching, you're clicking on it to watch. Whereas cable TV, you know, TV channels, you would just put something on and it would just come on and you would find stuff that way. So I kind of do miss that discovery.
yeah, and like the conversations you would have where it's like, have you heard about this thing? It's called Power Rangers. It's crazy. Like you get
It's-
lore drops,
It's
you know?
crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And you would play it on the playground, and half of you would be making up sort of what you understood about it because maybe you hadn't seen the same
Yet.
episodes.
Yeah, you've seen different
you were playing.
eras.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
God bless, man. So my
But-
relationship to this was I had nostalgia to that. So then when I was in college and this thing came out, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to see that. But it was really more from the angle of that is from the makers of The Matrix. I was really not drawn in by the Speed Racer of it all.
I see.
Yeah.
There is something interesting with a cartoon from 1967 that only had one season, 52 episodes, but like this thing from 1967 that we all like had seen, like it was still in circulation, like
Yeah.
syndication. It's like, what a weird
Yeah.
artifact to then make a movie in 2008. It's a weird
I
genesis,
feel like
I
I
guess.
have no like context or understanding of like how big it was culturally in America because it was like it's a Japanese animated show from the 60s, but because I saw it on these VHS tapes, I was like, well, everyone must have seen it growing up, of course, but
Yeah.
I have no idea, you know, the common normie if they're how familiar they are with the Speed Racer franchise.
I think this theme song really transcended. Like, I think everybody
Definitely the theme
knows the
song.
theme song, right?
Yeah. But I just remember the
Hey-
buttons on the steering wheel that would have different gadgets was a big thing. I remember the monkey. Yeah.
Chim Chim,
so-
yep.
It's crazy.
Chim.
Yeah, what a wild
We
thing.
love Shin Chin.
So for this, you know, I watched it once and was pretty impressed, and then I got Speed Racer pilled, and then I watched, that's a Matrix reference, and then I watched every episode of the cartoon, some of it second screen viewing when I was doing other stuff, but I've gotten through the entire
how
cartoon, and then I
many?
rewatched it, the movie. 52 episodes, about 20 minutes each.
52?
That's how long they
My
did their runs of show in Japan in the day. They would do 52
And is
episode
it-
orders.
Which is
Is-
like a
I
couple
will
years,
talk-
or that was just one season?
Just one
Or
season.
was it a couple seasons?
52
Oh,
weeks. That's a year of programming.
I mean, we'll talk about references and stuff, but is there like the Cobra Gang and like all these, you know, fucking assholes?
That's
you
what I was
know?
curious about. So yeah, I watched all the shows and then I watched it
Racer
again.
X.
And there is, yeah, like obviously the mainstays, the Racer family, Speed, Trixie, you know, that's all there. But there are things like the Cobra guy, like he's in there, and some of like the henchmen and stuff. Like it is some of the race.
Wow.
I'll explain more when we go, but like some of the race set
Yeah.
pieces are pulled straight out of episodes, and I'm like, oh, that's
Wow.
very cool.
That's something that I really like watching this. It's like it's one of the most it's one of the most sort of trying to think of the word accurate
Previs.
Yeah, adaptation.
So
Like
just-
it really
it-
captures the
it's
spirit of the
faithful
cartoon.
to the source
One-
material.
one
That's
to
what I was,
one.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
It's to think of like, you know, we had so many anime live action adaptations recently and stuff. Some of them miss the mark. Some of them are better than others. We love One Piece, of course, but something just about the way this is filmed, the stylisticness, the editing, like it's all so faithful to the source material. And it's like, I think this movie is like the closest you can get to a live action cartoon, with its editing style and everything, just the different angles and stuff. Like nothing can compare to this. And there's never been anything like this since this came out. And and it's just
Yeah.
incredibly unique, I think, as a movie.
Yeah, before we dive into it, yeah, that would be the biggest recommendation for anybody that hasn't seen it, is there's nothing like it. So you have to at least check it out. It is a singular kind of work.
You think like, oh, it's just a racing movie or whatever. Like, this is like no racing movie you've ever seen. Like,
buckle up.
The shots they have in this movie, the edits, like, it's insane. Like, a lot of it doesn't work for me at times, but a lot of it does work for me. And that's kind of what is so interesting, is that the Wachowskis are totally unafraid of like looking uncool or like looking cheesy at times. Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, they have total control over what they want to show in the movie, and I have to respect that.
Yeah. And I have some info on how they shot this stuff, and we'll get into all that. But anything else? Oh, up top, that's right. I had a long day, and I thought, you know what? I could use a drink. And I thought, you know what? Maybe it's time to bust out the Racer 5 IPA Speed Racer branded Bear Republic.
What is
It's
I was just so truly, I just believed that when we were going to do this, that you would be recording this whole time with a helmet on with an X on it. So I was kind of waiting for like, what is Mike Speed Racer tying up? And ladies and gentlemen, he's pulling up a Speed Racer beer.
Yes, it's the best I could do in short notice because I couldn't 3D print anything because my house was on fire. So we made it work.
You know, Mike has gotten plastic surgery to hide his identity.
Yeah, by the way, who is that guy?
Caster X. That's Podcaster X. Yeah.
You're wearing a towel over your mouth, but now you're covering your eyes. So I couldn't put the two images together.
You can't. No, you'll never be able to figure it out. But yeah, I'm really into this franchise and this movie, and I'm excited to dive in. If we want to put the pedal to the metal, what do you guys say?
Let's do it.
All right,
let's do it. Speed Racer.
Go, Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels.
We're back here on Normies Like Us. We're slamming on the brakes. We're jumping out of the car. We're doing the weird little pose because
I can do it too.
The title of this episode is flashing on the screen as we're talking Speed Racer. We're mostly going to be talking the movie. I am very excited again to hear about Mike's comprehensive sort of digestion of the entire thing here. If you wouldn't mind giving us like a quick, maybe even like, just rundown of the characters. So why did we have that? And I said Japanimation earlier, and obviously that was kind of an homage to the time of, again, this really wasn't called anime, but this was a thing where I'd go to Suncoast Video, I'd go to the Japanimation aisle, and I would see Sailor Moon, Speed Racer, and the first run of Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, all on a shelf next to each other. And I'd be like, there we are, the 90s. And then obviously the movies that Jacob's always referencing, like Ghost in the Shell and Akira, would be like, on the shelf above them or something. You'd be like, yes, Japanimation.
You get like 2 episodes on a tape. Yeah. That kind of thing. Yeah. So this came out of, obviously, the Japanese version of Speed Racer, which is called Mach Go Go Go. And this is one of my issues with the movie I'll get into. But basically, the family is called the Mifune family, named after Toshiro Mifune as a reference. So when he has a G on his shirt, right? His name is actually Go Mifune. Speed Racer's name is Go Mifune in the Japanese one. And so Go is like a triple play on words because it's like Go is just a name. Go is the number 5, which the Mach 5, and then Go as in go. So it's all like a pun. So when they have the Mach 6 in this, I'm like, that's not in the spirit of the Japanese one, but this is purely an adaptation of the American dub of Speed Racer in that sense. So we get the Racer family because they're like, what do we name them? I don't know, Speed Racer, Pops Racer, and Mama Racer, and that's kind of where it went.
Very creative names.
And do younger listeners who now, as Jacob said, we're in the streaming age, and obviously the streaming age has brought in so much consumption of anime and content from other cultures. Do people understand that when Mike says it's an adaptation of the American dub of Speed Racer,
yes,
that we would get stuff and people would just be like, I'm not saying any of this shit. I'm going to say whatever I want to say. And they would write completely new narratives for all of these like Japanese imported or foreign shows and just be like, we're this thing. I mean, we joked about Power Rangers. That's what Power Rangers is, right? I mean, they just got
Power Rangers.
We're like, we're not doing any of this garbage. Like,
Power Rangers is so interesting to me because the way they made Power Rangers is they took the fight scenes from the Japanese version, which had a totally different story and plot and everything. And so they would reuse the fight scenes, but then all the stuff when they're unmasked, just being teenagers, was all filmed
Yes.
for America. So it was a bunch of white people with a couple minorities and dealing with their high school lives and stuff. And then they would put on the mask and be fighting.
So this is
nothing was sacred. Nothing was adapted accurately. I want people to understand that.
Yeah, this is a different lore kind of universe in many ways to the Japanese one. They've really focused on the family. And the interesting thing about this is 4 people dubbed this entire show. This guy, Peter Fernandez, who has a cameo in this movie, he did Speed Racer's voice and also Racer X. And it's just 4 people did every voice for every character on the show, super low budget. And he had carte blanche to write the storyline. He had to follow the plot beats, but he just kind of was able to do whatever the hell he wanted. So it is its own thing, American Speed Racer. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, they just didn't give a fuck back then. And now we have debates over localization and all this stuff. And there's a bunch of hardcore anime fans and stuff that'll get really mad if you change the meaning of any kind of line or something. But pre 2000s, it just wasn't seen that way. And that's why all of these Miyazaki movies have older English dubs before the Disney came and redid them with, celebrities and stuff. They just had these very cheaply made English dubs.
Yeah.
Because no one cared and they didn't see it as a profitable market for
all they wanted to do in America. Yeah, this was the lowest lift. They're like, hey, Johnny Quest is popular now, but it's too expensive to make. What other action cartoon can we import really cheap and just get out the door? And that's how this thing came to be. It's we just need more cartoon.
That's crazy.
Get it out as cheap as possible. And that's why it has its kind of unique style and all that is translated into the movie pretty well. So I'll be mentioning things that I noticed in the cartoon that they're doing in the movie that I really enjoy as we go through this, because it really does got that flavor. So I was very pleased with that. It
really nails it, yeah. And we should say this was made by the Wachowski sisters, of course, despite what the credits might say.
Right.
What are you guys' opinion about the Wachowskis overall as with their career? Obviously, they made The Matrix. They've made some stuff since then.
Jupiter
Ascending a lot of times. Jupiter Ascending. They made Sense8, which was a TV show.
Oh yeah, Sparky's in that.
Oh really?
They bring back the actor, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, very unique vision and everything, of course. But I think a lot of their stuff just is sometimes misunderstood. And
I think that's the case with this. And the Wachowskis, their background is in growing up loving this stuff. They loved Speed Racer, growing up watching it. They loved anime. They were into all that stuff. And that's why The Matrix looks how it does, because they were influenced by manga and all that. And I don't think every one of their movies hits for me, but I love The Matrix 1. I think that's incredible. And now I love this. And I think, I appreciate what they do to push the envelope stylistically. Colin, where do you net out on the Wachowskis?
I'm with you guys. I love them. There's that famous story on the set of The Matrix where they would reference manga and anime so much, and every single cast member was like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Except Lawrence Fishburne, who was like, yo, that shit's my jam. And
hell
was totally on the same wavelength with them. His careers I've always followed. Mike, I know you've seen Sense8. I think that's the only thing of theirs
I liked it.
have not seen. I guess I'd like to check it out. I don't know. Jacob, they're pretty important to you?
I wouldn't say that important to me, but I just, again, I appreciate their career and they're so unique. And it's funny because, everything that they were into, in the 90s, they were just 15 years too early because everything they were into would become mainstream culture today. Even, 20 years ago, but
right.
I appreciate everything they've done, and they're not afraid to take wild swings and stuff. And for a movie like this, where it's expected to make a certain amount of money, they're just we don't really care about making it accessible. We're just going to make what we want, and if it's a box office failure, then we just have to, live with that. And,
Well, so I'm just going to hit first reactions on mine here then to say, because I know, Mike, you're so positive about this, and I really want you to guide us and take this on your episode and guide us on our plot here. but not to counterbalance you. But when you set up this thing, and I immediately texted like, "Yeah, Speed Racer, that's great." And Jacob was like, "Oh, I don't know, like, do we like that movie?" And you started posting like letterbox reviews, Jacob, and then you posted mine where I was like, I don't really know about this movie. And I was like, "What? No, like that's stupid or whatever. Like this
I
movie
think you had
rules or whatever."
yeah,
Right.
I had kind of
I think
like
you had
an
mixed to
okay
positive
view on it or
feelings.
whatever. Yeah, I mixed to positive. But very high in general thought of the film, right? And then I watched this movie, and the whole time I was kind of like, oh yeah, actually I am kind of like medium cool on this thing. And it's one of these things where it's like when I think about this film, I get super, super excited because in my mind I'm like, that's one of the most cutting edge movies I've ever seen. Like, what are you talking about? Like it's like, it's got this, it's got that. Then I watch it and I'm kind of generally entertained for most of the time, but then also like, all right, let's like wrap this thing up. Like it's a very interesting experiment that you're just like, all right, I know what you've done here. Like, let's just put an ending to this. So,
Well,
Gotcha.
to
that's
me,
kind of
again, I
my
think
thought.
it oscillates so much where when it's hitting, it's really hitting for me. But then there's
Yeah.
some scenes where I'm just like, oh, this is like looks like they're in a PS3 game right now.
We're cutting to the
Uh,
monkey again, huh?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah. Well,
Um,
but that's why I almost appreciate that it exists more than like it's not my
yeah.
favorite movie of all time.
You almost
And
can't judge it. Yeah, it's too cool to judge. Whether or not I like it
yeah,
is not important.
it doesn't
yeah.
care
And I think
if you judge it. Like, it does not give a
yeah.
shit what you think.
Again, it's not afraid
That's
to look
ballsy. That's
cheesy.
cool.
Like, yeah,
That's cool.
it's not. It's and again, I think this is Mike's episode, but I also think this is dedicated to Ex Kaida talking about his
Sure is.
favorite movie of all time, and I think it really fits as his favorite movie because if you know him at all, he has a very unique personal aesthetic, and I think this movie really fits. I think it's very important to
Yeah.
have a personal aesthetic as a person, and Ex Kaida, he's one of the most unique individuals that you'll ever meet, and so this movie fits his vibe perfectly, and so for that reason, I do love it.
Yeah. He was able to see the IMAX re-release too, and he fucking loved it. So he did make it
That's good. That's
during the
good.
re-release. So I'm
And
happy
I
to
remember,
report that.
when I met him years ago, I've known him for many years now. But I think when he first told me, he's like, "Yeah, man, Speed Racer is my favorite movie of all time." I was like, "What? Speed Racer? The
Right.
movie from 2008 with
Emil
Emil
Hirsch.
Hirsch and everything?" He's like, "Yeah, that movie's the fucking best. You don't understand." I was like, "Okay." And then I rewatched and I was like, "You know what? I get it." But I'm not going to agree totally that it's my favorite movie of all time, but I do. Again, I appreciate that it exists more than I
Like it.
love it. Yeah.
Fair. And this thing had been in development since the 90s. Warner Brothers had it for a long time, and there was a version that was going to be Johnny Depp as Speed Racer and all this, and that. And then it finally, after development hell, landed in the laps of the Wachowskis, and they were like, you know what? I would love to make something that's not R-rated. We want to make a fun family anime movie. And they just wanted to go the complete opposite direction of anything like heavy-handed. They just wanted to go, just light-hearted, this love letter to their anime that they loved. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a kid's movie or a movie that would be appropriate for any age to watch. I mean, there's certain scenes, again, with the little brother and the monkey that are very kid-oriented. But we love it. And I also want to say, like, Mike, I wonder if the reason why you like this movie is because it's probably the closest that we'll ever get to a F-Zero movie.
You know what? That could be it, because I am a big F-Zero fan. And
like F-Zero.
I was thinking about that a lot, too.
F-Zero now with all these Nintendo movies. But this is like F-Zero the movie, right?
It really is. It really is. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And again, it's unapologetic. And I called this film, it's just so earnest. Like, people say, oh, it's cheesy because it's like, I believe in my family. I just want to be a racer. But like, in universe, everyone is like so earnest. Like, everyone is so bought in. It's never tongue in cheek when you're watching this movie. Like, it takes itself seriously, even if it's fantastical and absurd to us. I like that it treats itself with that earnesty. Like, that carries it a long way.
The thing is, it's to me somewhat predictable at times, the plot points. Again, I've seen this movie a couple times, so maybe that's why. But like, it's of course, it's all about power of family, which I love, and then of course, who's the villain? It's the evil capitalist. So I can always get behind that. And yeah.
And and we'll get into it here in a second, but I argue that this is a reflection of the Wachowski's experience in the studio system, because it's essentially an artist who says you can't make your art unless we commodify it, and he rails against that to create the thing that he just wants to make. And that's what this movie is. Like,
Yeah.
within the system, we're doing what we want. We're making our art, for better or for worse. Fuck you, we're doing it, right? I think that's cool.
Yeah, Mike, I
That's
was
right.
thinking about that whole conversation, the conversation of artisan versus artist, commodification. We talk about that. Literally, that the villain in this is EP. His initials could literally be executive producer, which is literally
Ooh.
the title they often give these studio stooge who's sort of injected into making your movie happen.
Yep.
Like, really, Mike, you really could sell that angle. And then I was also thinking about, I want to know your guys' opinion about this before we really get into this,
Mm-hmm.
about how obviously the other big read that people, that's the is this movie about making movies, is kind of the big read people put on movies these days, to be like, isn't that kind of interesting? And it's always like, yes, it is very interesting.
Yeah.
But the big read that people put on characters, and obviously this works for this one too, is the whole like, well, do you think Speed Racer's on the spectrum? Do you think this could be viewed as like an autism movie, that he like excels and
Just loves racing.
specializes, all this
He's
stuff?
had a
It's just like,
hyper-focus.
is there kind of anything lamer, and will there ever be another conversational change? Because obviously it used to be, wow, you could kind of look at this film through a gay lens, but now obviously the criticism of, well, you could kind of look at this movie through an autistic lens. It's like, will there ever be
It's
another
like everything now.
diagnosed thing
Right.
occurs where people are like, oh, well, you can, he's kind of a blip blorp if you think about it. It's like,
Well, it's almost
so
becoming
dumb.
lazy to be like, oh, this character is autistic, right? Like,
You could code
everyone can't be
speed, that's a
autistic.
little different. It's like, yes, we all are. We're all on the
Yeah.
spectrum.
Right,
Everyone-
right.
All movies about how we're all on a spectrum.
Everyone's different. Everyone has a different kind of neuro dysfunction, or not dysfunction,
Divergence.
but divergent. That's the word I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
There's neurotypicals, but everyone has something different about them, and that's what's great.
Yeah.
But I also just want to say, like, it's funny to think, like, when people say, like, oh, when you say like all art is political, that's stupid. Like, not everything is political. And then you watch this movie and it's like, well, obviously this had, how could Speed Racer be political? But this has the personal politics of the Wachowskis in it, being,
Mhm.
against the greedy capitalists, of course. And I do think it's about their experience in Hollywood. And I think this would be a really interesting double feature with Matrix Resurrections, the Lana Wachowski
Sure, yeah.
fourth Matrix movie,
Which
which
was
is
a
all
lot of
about
commentary
their
too, yeah.
experience of making the Matrix movies in Hollywood, and how basically it's been commodified, and something very personal to them has been taken away and like turned into an IP and
Yeah.
distorted, right?
Did we do an episode on that? That's kind of the only new
I think we did.
Wachowski's thing that has been made since
I don't
we've done
remember.
our
That was like a
podcast.
COVID drop. I
Yeah.
swear we did.
Yeah.
And that was
yeah,
a movie
it
that, again, had very mixed reception, where some people are like, this sucks. Some people are like, no, you don't understand. This is like actually brilliant.
Well, and the fun thing about that, Jacob, Christina Ricci in both. They bring her back for Matrix 4.
That's right.
Right.
For like a brief cameo. It's really a nothing part. But yeah,
That's
I
probably
need
good.
to rewatch that. I don't remember too well, but just the whole energy of like, fuck the Hollywood studio system. Like, we're making this because we know that it's going to get made either way, so we might as well be involved.
We're going to call you out in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a very meta movie about like, fuck
Why
the
do we
system.
why does the sequel need to exist? Does this need to be made? What are we doing here? Yeah,
Right.
it's very, very much like that. So they do a lot of meta stuff here and there. I think the Christina Ricci poll is maybe a good time to jump in on this cast, though, for the live-action Speed Racer, because, like I said, we got
That's right.
Emil Hirsch is Speed Racer, his government name. John Goodman is Pops Racer is
First name
great.
Speed.
Susan Sarandon is Mama Racer.
Yeah.
Christina Ricci is Trixie, right? It's a good core.
Oh, boy.
I will say that, yeah, it's a very well cast movie. Even if you look at the characters from the animated show, like, they nailed, like, obviously Susan Sarandon, the GOAT, John Goodman, another GOAT. Like, they nailed the casting of the parents. Emil Hirsch looks like Speed Racer with his black hair and everything. Now, unfortunately, of course, Emil Hirsch, some stuff surrounding his, him as a person that maybe is not the best.
Really? I thought you were saying he's your favorite actor. What did you mean
I
by
did
that,
not
Jacob?
catch any wind of this.
You said you invited
Oh,
him
you
to
don't
a
know about
party
that?
at Con and you gave him a bunch of drinks.
Emil
and
Hirsch
you
is like
strike whoever you want.
has been semi-canceled, I think, in that he was like
shit.
assaulted someone.
Oh,
He
no.
loves to
That's
assault women. Multiple
yes.
parties. He's been like, "What did you
Oh,
say,
no.
Smackaroo?"
Well, now I like this movie
So-
less.
Yeah, I'm surprised you hadn't heard of this. This happened a few years back, really, with all this stuff. And
He loves to
obviously,
choke
he
people.
was sort of a somewhat upcoming star in Hollywood. With we had Speed Racer, he had Into the Wild, and some other stuff, and then he kind of disappeared. And I think that's because like he's notoriously like not a good person, maybe. So that's unfortunate that he's the star of this movie. But and also then of
Dang.
course we have Matthew Fox, also reputedly a woman beater. According to Dominic Monaghan, who worked with him on Lost, he's not a good person either. So,
Well, goddamn.
But that's Hollywood for you.
Raging
Never meet your
alcohol.
heroes. Shit.
You guys love Lost.
I mean, I liked
But
it
I never
until
liked.
it ended.
I never liked Jack the best. He was never my favorite character.
No, Sawyer. I was
Sawyer?
Team Sawyer.
Sawyer's
I definitely
cool.
saw that football movie he was in. I can't remember which one he was. He was not We Are Marshals.
No, Matthew.
That was Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Or Matthew McConaughey was in that.
Getting our
I
Matthews
don't know.
mixed
I
up.
don't remember. But Matthew Fox, obviously, star of Lost, most famously, is Racer X. Now, young Racer X, I wanted to mention because I like to bring up my favorite show, Friday Night Lights.
Oh, hell yeah.
Young Rex Racer, I should say, that we see in the beginning of the movie is played by Jason Street, not the actor's name, but the character's name from Friday Night Lights.
Oh.
He plays Jason.
Wow.
Whatever
That's
that actor's
him.
name is, Scott Porter.
A
is his name.
legend.
But he played Jason Street in Friday Night Lights, the star quarterback that becomes a quadriplegic from an injury in football, and that's his whole arc, is having to adjust to becoming a quadriplegic in the show.
And this casting, he does look like he could be related to Emil Hirsch. Like he looks like his brother. Like good casting.
Yeah,
right.
Does.
Yeah.
Jacob, I literally thought you were about to say Jason Street, who of course gets Jason Streeted.
Yes, it's a term that we made up when we were in college. When we were,
Oh.
apparently Colin never watched the show, but all my other friends watched Friday Night
never have.
Lights, and we called it Jason Streeting, which is when you get injured so badly you basically
You're done.
again become a quadriplegic.
So it's like getting
it's
draped.
Yeah.
In
If
Degrassi.
you're playing Madden against each other, you say, "Dude, I just Jason Streeted you." You're
Oh,
it's over.
man.
Yeah,
You
get a
cut to Aaron
particularly hard
Rodgers
hit.
truly getting carted off the field, and you're like, "See, I told you."
Told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the opening thing in Friday Night Lights is Jason Street gets Jason Streeted, and then Matt Saracen, the backup, has to come in and become the new star QB. And how does that go? He was always the backup. Now he's the star.
All right.
So it's
Now,
a great show.
Jacob's out here. He's like, Susan Sarandon. And Mike's like, John Goodman. You guys are
Mhm.
like,
We love
oh,
him.
these are big actors. I'm like, whatever. Can we talk about the real fucking talent of this thing? When are we going to talk about Rain?
Yo, Rain.
Rain.
Shout out
South
early
Korean
roll
star.
for Rain.
Can
K-pop.
we talk about Rain, motherfuckers?
That's the ninja assassin himself. Rain, brother. Yeah. Yeah.
And here's the reason I bring him up. Because when I saw this film, I for sure had somebody say to me, that's Rain. He's a big deal in like a K-pop band or something. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I guess so. I don't really understand who that is. And then when I went and saw the film Ninja Assassin, which I did with a ton of frat boys in college, and we basically had the whole theater to ourselves, and they jumped on doing karate to each other the whole fucking time. That one of the guys was like, yeah, this guy, the guy who stars in this is like a big K-pop star. And I was like, oh, like Rain in
Speed Racer.
This film?
Speed
And
Racer.
they're like, no, it's like a different guy. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we got here, I saw the credits, I was like, no, it's Rain again. And I remember being like so excited.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
vindicated.
Rain. He was probably a second or third generation.
He's Gen 2.
The way K-pop is broken up into generations. So He's an older
Really?
generation K-pop star. Yeah,
Is he
before the
dead now?
breakout. I assume he's not dead. He's probably in his 30s.
No, he's in his
Wow.
40s or
40s.
50s probably. But
I don't know how old he was in this movie, I guess.
But yeah, he was like, this was, pre Gangnam Style. Like, it was actually a wild pull for the Wachowskis to be like, yo, get Rain in here. Like, respect, honestly. That's like shows how much like they're tapped into like culture, especially coming out of Asia and stuff. Like,
right. Yeah, they have a lot of, influences from Asia again with the source material. But it is also funny, like this was, in Hollywood, you can just cast any Asian actor as like he's playing a Japanese guy, but he's Korean. And then his sister in this movie is a Chinese actress, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, right.
So you can kind of just, do that. But yeah,
Yeah.
we like Rain.
I think the character's half Korean, half Japanese because a lot of the text is in Hangul, like on their flag marketing and stuff. But it feels like like the voice cast was 4 people for the cartoon. So it kind of is like wrong on purpose because that's how it was done. Like, is that intentional? I don't know.
Hiroyuki Sanada is Japanese. Obviously, we see him later.
Hiroyuki Sanada is in this movie.
Musha Motors.
I'm not sure why or what he's doing in the movie.
It's called Musha Motors. Is that really what it's called?
Yeah, he runs Musha Motors, I believe. Yeah.
How did
If
I
you
not
don't watch
notice?
this 41-minute documentary that was produced, a fake mockumentary about his company or whatever, then you're not going to know what this character is doing in the movie, right?
At all.
They're just doing business. I counted. He has like 26 seconds of speaking, and in that weird documentary, he has like 16. So he's almost like did double the work just for that stupid documentary. He doesn't have a lot to do in this.
When his name was in the opening credits, I said out loud, "Oh, that's crazy!" Because obviously we've done Shogun as an episode on this podcast. He's an actor we know a lot. Westworld, he popped up.
Mortal
Someone
Kombat.
we became to recognize late in his career as an import.
He's done
Obviously,
so
he
much
was
stuff,
like a J-pop star. Like he was a
child actor.
Man, yes, exactly.
He was in Japanese Star Wars.
Huge career.
Yeah.
But so the whole time I'm watching this
60-year
movie, and I'm like, Hiroyuki Sanada, wow, I can't wait. And then I'm like, oh, is he like the dad of this kid? And no, he's not Rain's dad. And when he just appears on screen for 2 seconds, I did turn away and miss it. So I had to Google it and look it up later. I was like, oh, that was the scene, the one I was looking at my phone during.
Yeah, it's brief. He has that one conversation with Royalton, and then he just kind of is in the background.
He's just like smiling and
top
nodding in one
billing.
scene.
His name is in the opening credits.
And it's funny, like you said, he's a huge star in Japan. He's been working for many, many decades, started as a child actor, and he's been in Hollywood for a while but for a lot of it, he was doing like bit parts and stuff. Like he's in Avengers, if you remember, he's in Avengers Endgame.
He plays Hawkeye.
He's
a Yakuza leader. Yeah,
like
he's not
Yakuza
even like
leader
a
that
hero,
Hawkeye
or it's like what a blown opportunity.
Yep.
Yeah, but I really feel like Shogun and recent stuff has given him more name recognition in America, and so that's great. But yeah, we love Hiroyuki Sanada. Last Samurai, of course, my favorite Tom Cruise movie.
Yep, correct.
And Jacob, are we going to be seeing him soon when we cover a little film called The Wolverine? And by soon, I do mean, of course, in like a year.
Like 6 months. Yeah.
Fair. Well, and even sooner, like I said, for Mortal Kombat, get over here.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to rewatch Mortal Kombat 1 2021 or whatever.
Not worth it.
Not a great adaptation. Yeah.
Get ready.
It's got my favorite character, Cole Combat.
That's right.
But Speed Racer.
Cole Combat.
My power is combat.
We love it. And yeah, again, very great cast. Like I think the whole family just fits so well. Matthew Fox is a good Racer X. Again, no opinion on them as people. Yeah.
Some of my beef is that when I'm thinking about this movie, I'm like, oh, yo, Susan Sarandon's dope in that. I remember her being really dope in that. And then you kind of watch it and she gets lost and she really doesn't have that many scenes. And then you think about
John Goodman has
and
more.
You're like, yo, John Goodman. Well, but you think you're like, well, John Goodman's dope in that movie. And then you watch it and he's like, even he kind of like, there's just so much driving, whatever. But then all of it at the end. The superpower that this movie knows to have is like, you just replay your Oscar winning moments, like when she says that thing about like Susan Sarandon, and you just wowed me. And like he's like remembering that as he's about to win at the end,
Yeah.
tearing up. I'm like immediately I'm like cheering. I'm like, Susan Sarandon is amazing in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You get actors of that caliber like Susan Sarandon and John Goodman. John Goodman never been nominated for an Oscar. Probably the greatest actor to ever live that's
Insane.
never been nominated for an Oscar.
Wild.
And Susan Sarandon, of course, has been nominated for Oscars. But so they have, they're not used a ton, but when they have their moments, they really nail them, of course. And I think the father-son scenes with him and Speed, and then of course, him dealing with having, Rex, the older brother who died,
gets Jason
he doesn't
treated.
want Speed to he gets Jason.
They think he does, yeah.
He doesn't want Speed to make the same mistakes.
Yeah, no, like the way this movie can mirror itself, because this is a good way to get into the beginning. Like the opening scene and the ending scene basically being a montage of a race highlighting the relationships he has with the people who care about him. Like you open the movie, he's in media res, he's in the middle of a race, and then throughout that time we establish his childhood, his brother, his family. Like it's really efficient. It's a great opening 15 minutes, I think. And then to mirror that at the end and pay it off with like, and it's all because of the people around him that he's able to succeed. Like I really like the bookends, the way they structured it that way.
And also the start of this movie, we're getting into the plot of this movie finally. But the opening of this movie, like I said, also visually and thematically, like it's giving you all the visual information that you need to know of, like, this is what this movie is going to be like.
Get used to it,
with these racing scenes. Like this is what what to expect with this movie. And so like you're immediately like in the zone with this movie. And it's a great scene.
Yeah, and like he's getting ready to race, and then we cut to him as a kid drawing race cars and flip books, and he can't focus on his studies. He only cares about racing, and
he's autistic.
Yeah, he loves.
Well, I was telling you in chat that there's a little girl bully that calls him the R word at one point, and
young Ariel Winters,
young Trixie
Modern Family.
Yeah. Right, I couldn't believe that.
What did you call him? Slap.
Which I think that's probably intentional too. Like, obviously, we don't use the R word, and Wachowskis know that too. But they put it in there to be like, people like this exist and are bad. It's like neurodivergence is cool, and so
it
was
it's also
like
2008.
For sure.
Like, it was a different time in terms of like people could use that word in mainstream entertainment. It wasn't.
But the message is not that was not cool, and then she gets punched in the face, right? Like,
But you know what I like about it though? The relationship could literally just be that they're friends, and if they really leaned in on, let's say, the neurodivergency of it all or whatever, they might make him more asexual. When they're in the car later and he's revving and he's like, my biggest dream is that I cross that finish line and fucking make out with you, girl. Like, you're fucking hot as hell. I was like, thank God they are fucking sexually attracted to each other. Like, that's awesome.
Well, I also love that aspect is there, but also once he crashes into the bush and she's like, hey, I'm from your class. He's like, yeah. Do you want to see my race car collection? It's like incredible.
He crashes because he can't take his eyes off of her.
Just likes racing.
No, but he loves Trixie. A girl could sometimes use a reminder, and like that back and forth, like flirting scene is really, really good with them. I like that. Yeah. But we're getting all of his relationships with his dad, his brother, Rex, how much he looked up to him, and he's chasing the ghost of Rex Racer. And then we learn about kind of the ultimate tragedy where he was blackballed by the industry. He kind of left out on Pops, and that's another scene that we get mirrored later too.
Yes, and the conspiracy of the whole racing industry is something that's a big part of the plot of the movie, is like uncovering that certain things are fixed and stuff. But I think what's incredible, so this scene of Speed Racer racing against the ghost of his brother, where it cuts to his brother's car and you see like it's mirroring, it reminds me of so something you can do in Mario Kart. You can race a ghost that holds the record of that track, right? I remember reading online one time on Reddit or something, like someone was telling a story about how their older brother who passed away, and they always used to play Mario Kart together, and their brother had the record on this one track, and so the younger brother would always race this track and race against the ghost of his brother in this track. And then literally the scene from the movie where it's like he's almost going to pass him, and then he slows down because he doesn't want to lose the memory and beat that record and lose that, ghost image of his brother in the game. I was like, that's this movie. That's in this
that's
movie.
incredible. Yeah, it goes through in a lot of racing games, but that's cool. Like that somebody has, with the Mario Kart Ghost. But yeah, that it's super effective too because you see him, pass him, he kind of and then he lets off the gas. It's just like simple stuff like that.
Right.
That's really effective. That's when this movie is cooking. Is the moments like that for me, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Should we talk about the plot of this movie?
Yeah, because essentially through this we learn that Rex left the racer family racing group to go and do his own thing. Pops interpreted that as selling out because he's going to go work for sponsors or something like that. So their relationship kind of gets fractured. And then in the race, was it Corto Cristo or whatever? The Corto Cristo race, Rex crashes and is presumed dead. And, the family sees this on TV and it's a big...
and that's the race that's like more dangerous because you can have all kinds of different tricks and traps in your car that's unregulated. Yeah, you have little gadgets come out. So sketchy stuff can happen in that race. And so basically, Speed Racer's trying to live up to his brother's image in racing. And so they get visited by the CEO of Royalton Industries, right?
Right. He watched the race, and as a result of this great performance that Speed put on, he's like, attracting sponsors at this point. So they're having pancakes. There's an earthquake, but it's actually a big airplane, and we meet Royalton.
Kind of a lost pseudo Wachowski's movie. It's a film that they wrote and then their AD directed. They were going to direct it. They told the studio if it wasn't going well, they were going to direct it, but they really let their first AD helm the film. Is the film V for Vendetta, a film I like quite a bit. This guy is the villain of that film, and it's really the only other film work that I know him for, really. I guess he's some sort of British, thespian or large Shakespearean actor, it seems, as well.
Roger Allam.
I think he's perfect in this role again. Great casting, especially like when you first meet him and he does come off as very like affable and kind. And then when we get the turn later, he's kind of crushing it in both sides of that coin. In my family, we said pancakes are love, but yeah.
He was the original Javert in Les Mis, the original Les Mis in London.
On stage?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wow. Sure.
Wow.
That's incredible. Huh.
Yeah. But obviously, so this guy is obviously the scummy CEO, capitalist, one of the least surprising twists. That's one of my problems with this movie. Not that it's like a huge problem, but some of the plot points and twists are a little predictable, I would say.
Is this a sports movie, Jacob? It follows all the sports movie tropes, and obviously we have to have sort of the guy who's like, what if I lure you over to the evil team? Over here we do things a little bit different, So it's almost like, as much as it's a cliche, I mean, it really is just a trope, but then how much are tropes cliches, So
I mean,
bare bones, it's an underdog sports movie. Like that's what it is.
I mean, I saw, if you've seen the movie F1 with Brad Pitt that came out last year,
and that did not
similar plot points in that movie. Not a terrible movie. Like, if you like racing,
Brad Pitt, press E to
use
your super jack to jump over the foes in the Grand Prix at the end.
No, I only
literally because Brad Pitt's character in that movie, like, he's like the old wily veteran, but all his tricks are just like basically crashing his car on purpose to give his teammate like an advantage. And so it does kind of remind me of this, where he's just like, well, yeah, if only he could have like some little gadget come out of his car. That would be helpful.
And fucking the fact that Brad Pitt the whole time he's driving around, he's got that chimp in his fucking backseat too, and you're like, what is this?
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah. But literally the villain of that movie is like an evil CEO that wants to take over their racing company and stuff. So it's like not that different. Stylistically very different, but
what I like about it is it's simple, but it's wearing its heart on its sleeve. It is like, and here's the capitalist. Like, of course it is, but like it's the execution that I really appreciate.
And his family are too naive to realize at first, because they're just like, because he's putting on this act of like, we just want to, we want the best racers and stuff. and Speed is like so conflicted about joining this company or staying independent. And then eventually the CEO is like, look, you don't understand. I'm a fucking evil capitalist. Like
Shop
all I
goes
care
like
about
this,
is
and I
money.
do this, and when a guy says this, and a call in China does this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Racing has
That's
always been
my
fixed.
religion.
That's incredible. I
Yeah.
love that speech. That whole scene.
It's great. It's
Panning
truly
around the
amazing.
montage.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Again, this
camp
movie,
classic. Yeah.
one thing you cannot say about this movie is that it is subtle. It is not subtle
No.
in any respect at any time.
In any format, yeah, visually,
Yeah.
thematically, dialogue wise, but like there's things that are so well done, like mirroring again, because Speed is conflicted about whether he wants to join him, and he goes in there and he's like gonna let him down easy. So he does his backstory of like, look, man, you know, my brother died and it was like real hard, and he's like being so earnest, and then you just get the evil version of like, you don't know anything, boy, you know. Yeah, you know, and it's like
He's too earnest and pure for this world.
right.
He just wants to race.
What do you think, Pops? When I see a big company like this, I get scared because you're going to squeeze out the little guy. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
Then you get, of course, you get the tour of this whole facility and everything. Now, again, this movie, when it's not the racing scenes, can sometimes look completely insane in the back. Like it doesn't, I wouldn't say it looks bad on purpose, but I think it looks artificial on purpose at times, where it's like the backgrounds are so clearly green screen. It's like no one could ever mistake that for like a real location. But that's kind of the point. Like it's this artificial world that they live in.
They're making an anime in live action, like that. That's why they do so much composition work, because you can have everything be in focus, which normally we use focus to tell you where your eye should go in traditional filmmaking. They were just like, we're not doing any of that. We're doing a 2D cell animation, and it is kind of like layering cells on top of each other.
Live action cartoon.
100%. That's what they're going for.
It
So
really
it does look artificial, but on purpose.
And again, sometimes they'll speed up the footage of like when it's the little brother and monkey hijinks time, and they're just going crazy. They're on a sugar high.
Oh yeah.
There's some crazy shenanigans happening.
Yeah, but essentially, the thing is, do I sign with this company? Takes some time, thinks about it, talks to the family, and then he decides I'm not gonna, and that's when he gets the big speech where it's like, you're gonna go to Fuji, and you won't even finish, you won't even place, and then this will happen, and this will happen, and then your company will be defamed, right? And like all of that stuff does happen, and I like how they edit it, where he's describing it, but then we're seeing it happening in, quote, real time, like all the events playing out where they're getting like blacklisted and stuff.
When he's basically like pulling the wool from his eyes and be like, look, you don't understand, racing has been fixed this entire time. Like this famous race in the 40s that you thought was like these two big rivals, that was fixed the whole time. It's always been fixed.
So are you ready to put away your toys and become a real race car driver, like grow up? Yeah.
He's like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Right, but it goes wrong, and he starts to doubt himself because he's like, everything he said that would happen happened, and like maybe I should have just signed with him. And that's when we get these good scenes with his parents, like Susan Sarandon is like, Speed, you're like an artist. When you drive that car, you do amazing things,
Just take my breath away.
Yeah,
I will say we're gonna go to the Fiji scene here. He's gonna start interacting with things like the mob. He's gonna start fighting ninjas, all things from the show. Mike, I'm excited to hear about the connections there. We're gonna get more driving action. The trailer for this movie, if you guys recall, was like Speed does it all. He fights, he drives, he kisses, and it was like, like him like fighting the ninja, driving in the car, like kissing Trixie, right? And like this movie, it's got everything. And what they couldn't sell was, and it will look like an anime, because we do not have the words for that, right?
It was before its time.
Biggest detriment, we keep saying,
it was ahead of its time.
And that the failure of this film is that it grossed like $94 million or something total, next to like $108 million budget. Like it truly was a bomb, unfortunately. And I just don't know how you could have. what they should have done is just shown the driving. They shouldn't have shown the fucking ninjas. They shouldn't have shown like the kissing. Like it truly should have just. I don't know. Like, what do you do? I don't know. How would you?
Well,
have
I
sold
think
Yeah.
if this movie came out today, it would have been easier to market because
You would
they,
just
yeah, like you
say
said, they
it's an
marketed it
anime.
wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if you showed off the driving scenes and like this is what it's going to look like, then you could have sold people on that. But people going in expecting the more traditional racing movie, of course, are going to be disappointed when they're like, "Wait, why does it look like this? Like, what are these
What is
colors?
this?
Like, what is happening?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be an
Um,
assault visually. Like when I first watched it the first time, it did take me time to settle into the style. But then the second time, once I knew what I was in for, I was like fully on board. Like I was really enjoyed it. Once you understand what it's doing, but it can be a lot, for sure.
Again, yeah, there's some stylistic choices that I don't even agree with or like in this movie. Not all of them, but certainly there's things I would have done differently. But I can't. You have to respect the uniqueness of the artist and be like,
So
you just have to be along for the ride.
no, and they're
Crazy.
they're doing some really interesting stuff here. I was watching behind the scenes trying to figure out what they did. And you know how we have the volume now where it's like a 360-degree background and you can just kind of projection map whatever you want. Disney uses that for The Mandalorian a lot. They were doing like a weird version of that with green screen where they would record 360-degree still images, basically giant panoramas, and then they would use that as a pseudo volume with the green screen footage where they could just comp and zoom the background however they needed. So it's like really weird, like interesting stuff that they were doing. The backgrounds sometimes were just giant still images that they could pan and zoom around whatever direction they needed to. It's like weird technology stuff.
Well, that's what's so interesting. Like again, this movie was made in the 2000s. What would it look like if it was made today with the technology available today? It would look different probably, but I kind of like that has that 2000s look to it. And it's, this whole movie is like green screen, even when they're in locations, like when they're in the hallway of this company that they're getting a tour of, and the background is clearly green screen. It's just a hallway with a bunch of like scientists running around or something. It's like, well, obviously you could have shot that on a real location, but they chose to do it that way because that's stylistically what they wanted for the movie. Now, a volume may have totally changed what this movie could have looked like. I don't know, but
I like the movie the least visually when they're in a real room. Like I got used to the everything is a green screen cell look. So when they're in a physical location, rarely I'm like, this is a little off. It's kind of backwards in that way.
Right.
But
when
it's not to say that they're not building things. Like when they're on the segways are there. When they see when Sparkles or
Spritle.
Spritle.
But Sparky and Spritle and Sparkle combined to one person. That's too close. I don't like any of that.
You got to blame Pete
Spritle
Fernandez. He
sees
named them all.
Well, Pete, that was too much. When the stretch limo, golf cart is there, obviously that's a real thing. And then, like you said, people are being added, but they're doing real things. But the costume, like, obviously there is still practical stuff in this. Like, it is an interesting blend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even when the, not to jump ahead, but when there's the ninja fight scene in the middle of the Cristo Corto, whatever. And they're all in like they're like on a volcano mountainside, like fighting ninjas. It looks insane, but
it looks
like
I love it. No, I love the zooming, the whip pans. It's the anime.
Yeah.
Here, I'll say, so basically, the Casa Cristo race, that segment of the film, which we're about to get into, that is 100% just an episode of the show. Like that is exactly what the show is like. There's henchmen, there's fist fighting, there's crazy racing. It's usually a two-parter. They do a two-part race. That's the show. Casa Cristo.
Using gadgets on your car, you push the little buttons on the steering wheel that have different letters that do different things.
And then there's the introduction of this guy who's basically like, I'm Racer X. It's like, what is this asshole doing? He's like, during this Grand Prix, if people get up to shenanigans, I will just come out of nowhere and just knock them off the road. And
correct.
Like,
and we get, because this will bring us up to speed. We get the introduction to the crime underbelly of this whole racing thing, because we get Royalton saying, do we have a deal? And then it cuts to the crime boss saying to Rain, I thought we had a deal. Like, immediately implicating that Royalton is also a criminal. And they're in this room, and when it reveals that the room is just a semi-truck, is incredible.
First of all, this character's name is Cruncher Block.
That's from the anime. Cruncher Block, yep. Yeah. Thank you, Peter.
And yeah, they're interrogating him in this room. He has a tank of piranhas that he's threatening to feed into the piranhas. And then, when it cuts to oh, we're being followed. And they look out, oh, it's all this big semi that's been on a road the whole time. Incredible reveal.
And then that's when we get Racer X is coming in to kind of bail him out because he has some info on the crime scene. We learned that's what Racer X is doing. He's working with the CIB to try to, get to the bottom of this crime stuff and expose it all to save racing purity or whatever. And then he shows up to Speed's house with Inspector Detector. Yes.
Inspector Detector.
Incredible.
I 100% remembered that from the cartoon too. I was like, one of these guys has a dumbass name, and then when he came up, I was like, yep, it's that guy. And I thought it was Tintin, but Tintin also has those two dumbasses that have similar names.
But what I love about this movie is you can have a line like, Inspector Detector suspected foul play, but nothing could be proven. And they just deliver it so straight. It's so good. But they try to recruit Speed to go to the Casa Cristo race because Togo-Khan or whatever, Rain's like, yo, I got the information, but you got to help me win this race to save my company, and then I'll give you the information to indict Royalton.
My father's company.
Correct. Yes. 5 generations.
He's like, if Racer X and Speed Racer join, race with me, then I will help you. Which is why they agree to do it.
And he goes without Pop's permission. Pop says, your brother died there. I'm not going to lose another son to this death trap rally racing. This is the dangerous one. And so he doesn't want him to go. And Speed goes anyway. And that is right out of the cartoon. There's a lot of times where Pops is like, it's too dangerous. You shouldn't do that. And Speed goes. And then also he has saved a rival race company by racing for them in the show, with a different car. So these are like little things that you've seen happen.
Something I remember from the show, I don't know if this only happened like once or twice or how often, but I just remember Spritle and Chim Chim like stowing away in the car a lot of times and like hiding in the trunk.
That was every fucking episode.
Constantly.
Dog. What are you talking about?
Yeah, okay, good.
And I
just want to make sure I remember that correctly.
Yeah, and that comes up when we get to the fight. They're in the trunk. I love all that stuff because after seeing every episode of the show, like, they're constantly in the trunk. Like, it's a bit, like it's the whole point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Speed goes to do the race. It's a 2-day race. So his dad sees it on TV, Pops, and it's like, oh, we got to go get Speed. And this kind of family comes to join up. But Nanjas, it's a shame what passes for a ninja these days. Like, that's from the show too. Like, there's a lot of guns. Like, there's so much violence, weirdly. Like, so all the stuff we're seeing is totally accurate to what's going on.
Colin's just shaking his head.
But I don't know. This is my favorite sequence of the movie is Casa Cristo because it's just the show. They get everything right, even when Trixie is driving, which he does a couple times in the show, and Speed's being an asshole because he really kind of is in the show. It's like, we wouldn't be in last place if you were driving better, Trixie. Like, they have that moment. It's just the show.
Right.
It's just the show.
Be cool, my guy.
We wouldn't be in this situation if we drove better. Yeah, it's great.
The Casa Cristo scenes because, and like the use of gadgets and like the cars flipping over each other and stuff and like crashing into each other. Like, that's awesome. All. I remember that from the show as well.
And that's where I have maybe one issue is that's the only time where we're in the Mach 5. Like, all of the other rally stuff is the Mach 6. Even the opening race, it's the Mach 6. And for a show called Mach Go Go Go, it should have been the Mach 5 the whole time, baby. But I do like that we get the true Speed Racer Mach 5 action with the gadgets in Casa Cristo. So that's my favorite part of the movie.
I love how the car looks. I mean, they really nailed the look of it.
Yeah,
one of the coolest designs ever. So, they end up...
it's stylistic over realism. Like, none of it is, like, realistic looking with the cars and stuff, but that's how it's so faithful to the source material and the way that it looks.
Even there's like in the cartoon you get a lot where there's frames where the mouth of the driver was open like Speed, and so they just had to go like just these weird exasperation noises, and they do that in this movie. Like, Speed will be like looking over a cliff, and like that's like just a dumb corny thing from the show that they put in. I love it. It always makes me laugh. especially 52 episodes in. Just a random, oh, it's great.
Now, when they're racing in this race, Speed starts to suspect Racer X might be his long lost brother Rex. Racer X, Racer Rex,
Rex?
Rex Racer.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Feels like we've been doing this a long time.
Racer.
You say so. Yeah. I really like this
My
relationship
name
with
is
them.
Rex Racer. I want my secret name to be Racer X. The government would be like, well, no, that's
Right.
way too close.
Now, is this too obvious? This twist of Racer X. Now, if you know the show, then obviously it's not. Then
I'll tell you what. To 7-year-old Colin, it wasn't.
No, they say it every time he shows up. Like, and this is Racer X, Speed's long lost brother, but he doesn't know that. Like, they say that every time he shows up, like explicitly. He ran away
but in
from
the
home.
show, so eventually he's like, look at my face. Do I look like your brother? And he's like, oh no. And then you find out like, oh, he got plastic surgery to look. But the problem is Matthew Fox doesn't look that differently from young Rex Jason Street. Like, I could have believed that he was just an older version of that character. So the plastic
100%.
surgery thing doesn't really work for me because he doesn't look different enough.
He doesn't have plastic surgery. Yeah, in the cartoon, he doesn't get that. And in fact, in the cartoon, he doesn't fake his death. He crashes at the end of a race and loses. And his dad is like, you need to train more. He says, and he literally just runs away because his dad wants him to train. But the show, when Speed confronts him, he's like, hey, Racer X, how about you tell me, are you really my brother? Racer X just punches him in the stomach and walks away. It's incredible.
That's hilarious.
So it's never confirmed one way or the other. So that's true to the show, I guess.
A very big ongoing comic book now by the publication Dynamite, a Speed Racer comic book, and it's gotten so popular that they've just started a Racer X spinoff. And truly, looking at the comics, I was like, ooh, do I start collecting Racer X but not Speed Racer? And I just cannot imagine what they're like.
What I like about this update to him is he has like the all black leather, but in the cartoon, he has a white shirt with the red M, which is the same thing. Oh, yeah, it's like, how would you not know that's your brother? He's wearing your family logo.
Dude, he's dressed like your car.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, anyway. So that was a positive change. But they do win. They win the race. Casa Cristo, they win the race. Stock prices go up.
That's right. Well, there's the scene where they're pretending... Because basically, so like you said, the ninjas attack and they drug Rain so that he can't race the next day. So then they're like, okay, Trixie is going to pretend to be Rain and race in this car, and then they're going to trick on it. It's going to be great. So that's why Trixie races in that one scene, like you said. And then there's the big ninja fight where they fight Cruncher Block's henchmen and stuff, which is a great scene.
Oh, yeah. And it is in the cartoon, too, that Pops used to be a wrestler. Like, he used to be called Dragon Racer, and he was the wrestling guy, yeah.
He's got that great scene where he fights the ninja.
Shows his wrestling ring.
More like a nanja. Yeah.
Favorite line of the movie.
Incredible
for sure.
line.
But we learned that they've been double-crossed. It was all a ploy by Rain to rain on their parade.
It was Togo Khan Racing, him and his dad have been tricking them the whole time, but the sister feels differently, as we find out, and says, I don't agree with what my family did, and basically uses the official invitation to let Speed Racer join the Grand Prix.
The Grand Prix, that's right.
Because basically they were using it, again, it was all some dirty capitalism stuff. They were getting bought out by...
They were juicing the stock prices. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we all use the chips for the satellites. And
yeah.
Yeah.
But when Speed really finds out...
Yeah, it's like... Well, just the Royalton guy explaining the whole plan is like, this makes no sense to me. Like the manipulations of capital of like, don't you understand? Then this company will rise in stock price and then get bought out by this company and blah, blah, blah.
Glorious merger.
Yeah. It's a little tricky. But I guess he was buying the competition of Hiroyuki Sanada, but Tokyo Khan wanted more money, so they juiced the price. They still sold to him. So it's like, okay. Still sold out. But yeah, when Speed Racer finds out that he got screwed over, that's when he goes to the track. He's all upset. He's going to do some angry driving, and Racer X shows up. And this is one of my favorite scenes of the movie. I like this.
Yeah.
No?
I haven't been thrown around like that in a long time.
Doing one of those tracks with the lights off, your headlights are the only thing. That is fucking suicide.
That's what
He just
Speed
knows
Racer
that
does,
track
baby.
so well.
Can you imagine being
To
on
do
the
it with his eyes
highway, but you
closed.
had to do jumps occasionally?
Yeah. Well,
What's
Cars
funny is,
Alive.
like,
You just
so I
got to
said
listen to it.
this could be F-Zero, the movie. It could also be Hot Wheels, the movie, because sometimes it just looks like Hot Wheels cars riding on Hot Wheels tracks, which is very funny.
Were
to me.
you guys, and that takes you to the ultimate question, were you guys Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels kids? Did you like toy cars at all? We did not in my family.
I was the Hot Wheels. I was building loops.
I had Hot Wheels. I was building loops. You had the little tracks. I don't know if Hot Wheels are still a thing. Although when I go to the grocery store, I see them on sale, like the individual Hot Wheels. So maybe kids are still getting them.
I did one of those like buy anonymous Christmas presents for kids this year, and both the boys I got wanted Hot Wheels.
Nice. And now that movie's in development.
Oh, right. I had a whole Hot Wheels collection of just different cars and stuff. Also, when I was a kid, I did do Matchbox Derby because I was a Boy Scout, and so one of the big events they had is the Pinewood Derby, it's called, and you literally would build a car out of a block of wood, and you would the adults in the troop would help you, but you would sand it down, you would cut it however you wanted to shape the car. There's certain regulations about the weight and everything. You have to put weights in the bottom, and then you would race it against other cars, and you would try to win. And so I did that for years. It was a good time.
Matchbox is real. Hot Wheels is like wild and crazy, right? That is the difference between the brands.
I think typically that's what it was. I don't know if it's muddled, but my understanding was Hot Wheels are kind of crazy, and Matchbox are just small little cars.
I think Hot Wheels had replicas of real cars too, though.
I
don't know about Matchbook as much, but yeah, I mean, Hot Wheels maybe some of them weren't official Hot Wheels cars. Maybe they were other companies, but there were definitely replicas of real or historic cars, like even muscle cars and stuff like that from the 60s or whatever.
The Batmobile.
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was doing jump competitions.
Real cars.
The Batmobile's a real car, sort of, depending on which one.
But Pinewood Derby, that was the real. That's when I, gained my love for racing.
I just wanted Pinewood Derby. No, and that was when I was in the Boy Scouts too. That was a big father-son kind of activity. So that kind of reminds me of Speed and Pops. Like they're building their own racing cars. It's kind of a bonding thing.
Absolutely, and I know your dad works a lot with tools and saws and stuff. So you probably
grew up in a garage.
Fun doing that. Yeah.
Yes. I love the smell of machine oil. No irony at all. Like when I find a new tool, I'm into that stuff. So anyway, if you want real punch, you go Bernoulli. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that
was. We would just get together at one of the adults' house that had like a table saw and stuff, and everyone would kind of make their cars, and you could paint them however you wanted and stuff. So I'd always try to have like a nice paint job on my cars.
They called you Speed Jacob, right?
Did they get you? And Chim Chim was on there with the spray paint.
That would been awesome if I could have made a replica of the Mach 5 for my car.
Dude, fucking sick as hell, dude.
I was gonna
mine
print
were a
one.
little more basic in that, like, I was just trying to make a car that I thought would go fast or would be like aerodynamic or whatever, but I didn't have a good idea of like what good aerodynamics would be as a kid because I was just a dumb kid, but I did my best.
We had a scandal of people gluing weights to the bottom of the car to make them go faster.
You need to put some weights in the car, but there's regulations, like all the cars have to be like the same weight essentially.
We also had graphite on the axle scandals happening to make it less friction,
Cheating in the Pinewood Derby. It's fixed, I tell you.
It's crazy. It's always been fixed, Jacob.
The funniest thing is that Mike and Jacob were friends the whole time. They thought we were rivals.
You won't place, you won't win. Try as hard as you can. You won't.
And then we'll sue you into oblivion. The validity of the lawsuits won't matter. We'll just, anyway.
Can we talk about how Shaft Richard Roundtree is in this movie?
Yes. Good call out. That's the says he's wily.
The
He
old
says Speed's
racer
wily.
Wow,
Speed
you're
talks
so and
to.
so. Speed's wily.
He was in the 43 Grand Prix. But
That's right, kid.
That's right.
the gear shaft.
Again, another thing I like about this movie is, again, the way they do the announcers and the way they just cut and have the shots of the announcers go across the screen with like edits and stuff. Like all that, again, it's like you said, straight out of the cartoon.
From the
Um,
There
and
actually
it's
are
such
no
a
announcers in
perfect
this
way to
show.
do that. Oh, really?
But that style, the show is the rally racing. There's not like this F1 in an arena aspect to. Like there's not
So
a
I don't remember the
Thunderhead
show
style
too well.
track. It's always kind of
Yeah.
the open road races.
Okay.
That's
But again, it
like
just feels
summer.
very animated to me, the way they
It
have
is,
the
yeah.
announcers on screen and the different transitions and stuff that they.
Well, you have
they
a
do.
shot that looks like it's a car going over a mountain, but then that turns out that that's a screen on a blimp, and then we zoom out even further, and then that's like another screen that's in the steering wheel. It's like just going crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. But Racer X and Speed, they're doing this thing, and I just love this scene with Speed and Racer X when it's like, "Are you my brother?" It's like, "I'm not your brother," but this thing of racing will never change, and he's like, "It's not about will racing change; it's about will we let racing change us." Like, I like this speech a lot. You don't get in a T180 to drive; you do it because you're driven. I like that line a lot. I don't know, is it cheesy?
I mean, no, I don't know. Maybe.
It's like my favorite scene is this scene of them two, and like Racer X knows that he's lying. I don't know. There's a lot of I don't know. I think it's a pretty meaty scene. I like it. But
Mike, it had a Super Nintendo game. They had the PlayStation 1 game I was talking about, which, goes for $16. Not too bad. And then this film did have a tie-in video game. I can't even imagine. I assume
that's the one I was thinking of.
Wii.
It's like F-Zero and Beyblade. Maybe I'll
Sure.
emulate that. I have a Wii emulator. Just a little Wii emulator. But anyway, we have the Grand Prix upcoming. We get the invitation from the sister, and then this kind of a big finale setup, and we're mirroring the opening.
They have to build a car. They don't have a car to race, so they have to build a car in like 32 hours.
What? Barney, you're saying Dino let me out with the dinosaurs again?
Yeah, Dad. And we gotta, and Wednesday says if we don't walk over here and build a car.
That's right.
I like the
John
car
Goodman.
montage, though. How long did it take Rollton? 36 hours. We'll do it in 32.
The guy who plays Sparky is in Jupiter Ascending.
Oh, wow.
So again, you get another.
And
He's like
Sense8.
Australian. It seems like they shot in Australia. Like that first teacher is like,
Oh,
"Your
yeah.
son Speed, there's something wrong with him, ain't he?" What's that accent? What's going on here?
Jupiter Ascending is a great movie.
Robbie.
They also had that movie with Tom Hanks and like a bunch of people that played different people in different
Cloud Atlas.
things.
An actual
Cloud
good
Atlas.
movie. Jupiter Ascending,
Yeah.
horrible.
I have not seen that one.
Jupiter Ascending. Mila Kunis, Channing Tatum. I'm more like a dog than a person. Oh, I love dogs.
I love dogs.
I've always loved dogs.
Yeah. Never seen it. But
It's great. You got to see.
Sean Bean has a moment in that movie where he's like, "I am Beezor." And you're
Oh,
like,
no.
"Oh, no. It's like King of the Bees.
It's like a crazy sci-fi movie.
yeah.
Yeah, Cloud Atlas is more of a like you said, an action good movie. Different settings. Yeah, sci-fi. It's doing some interesting things. Should we do the Flintstones movies as episodes, do you think?
Whoa.
Just because I said that, did you get very
You said
excited? Thinking about Jacob,
like,
that's another one where every time I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what are you talking about? The art direction of that film is incredible. And then you watch and you're like, oh, it's a boring corporate drama about tax evasion.
But isn't it Halle Berry's in it?
Yeah, do you know what her character's name is?
Some kind of pun.
Sharon Stone, because they wanted Sharon Stone
Right.
to play her, and she said no, and they're like, all right, well,
Well, we're
just keep
keeping
her
We'll
there.
just keep the name Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, she looks great in that movie, and you got Kyle MacLachlan as like the evil businessman. And then, do you remember who plays Fred Flintstone in the sequel? It's not John Goodman. He doesn't come back.
No, Viva Rock Vegas.
Oh, right. It's Mark Addy. It's your favorite.
Mark Addy, Robert Baratheon from Game of Thrones. So,
Wow.
anyways,
Nice.
Flintstones.
We got our Game of Thrones reference in, folks. We did it.
That's right.
That's
Well,
right.
I saw Jacob that guy, the villain in this, was in Game of Thrones. Do you know who he played?
Oh yeah, he played Illyrio Mopatis, who is the.
Oh yeah, he
Whoa.
played Illyrio Mopatis. What the fuck did you just say? Who is that? As if I remember.
So
I'm
in
so
the first
impressed.
season, he played Illyrio Mopatis in the first season of Game of Thrones, I think, where he's like the guy that's like helping the exiled Targaryens, Daenerys and Viserys. He's like
He gives her the
Illyrio.
eggs.
Yeah,
Mm.
in Pentos.
It's a huge character.
That is pretty big
Well,
deal.
I think he's only in the first season. Yeah.
It's very important.
Gives her the eggs.
Yeah.
But as soon as you said that, I remember I was like, oh, he was Illyrio Mopatis, of course.
Oh yeah, he's Illyrio Mopatis.
Yeah.
Magister Illyrio.
Hey, tell me what your parents' birthdays are. Tell me that your brain holds on
Uh,
more than Game of Thrones. Yeah. Oh, he's Illyrio Mopatis. Of course.
He's not.
He's a bigger character in the books.
This is the test he turned in last week. The bubbles just say Miriam Opatis.
Yeah. So it's your father's
I
name,
just like Game of
Illyrio
Thrones.
Mopatis? No, that's his deceased brother's name. Oh, well, that explains
I
the
see.
bubble test you drew.
Miriam Opatis, slow down. Yeah.
The thing is, there's so many like British actors that just pop up in Game of Thrones in like a bit part
Yeah,
that
no.
have been in like, a couple things.
It was
or
a
whatever.
pension plan. That's what they used to call Harry Potter. It's the British
Right.
pension plan.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
God bless.
We love it.
We
But
love it.
Speed Racer.
Speed Racer. We're at the Grand Prix. Royalton thinks he's got it all locked up. They're cheersing with their champagne. We have the money. Yes, money. Oh,
Oh, and Mike, and just real quick, there's been so much talk about how delicious the victory milk is going to
Yo.
be.
I can't wait to drink that cold milk.
Cold milk.
Oh, if I could get my hands on that cold milk, mate.
I guess that's a
What?
Daytona 500
like that
thing
at all.
or Indy 5. It's one of those races.
Sure.
They actually just drink milk after
I
it
think
for some
the
reason.
so have you seen that movie Ford versus Ferrari?
No.
Yes, yeah.
It's the so there's the Le Mans, I think it's called. It's
Yeah,
like a
Le Mans.
24-hour
Ah.
race that you race for the whole 24 hours basically. It's a crazy
Mhm.
race.
Endurance race.
And at the end of that, I think you drink cold milk. The winner like historically drinks a nice cold
Okay,
milk.
so yeah, we got the milk. It's also like wholesome Speed Racer. It's on brand. Can't wait for that cold milk. Yeah, don't let Homelander know what's going
I
on
hate
in the World
that.
League Racing.
disgusting.
Seriously, how you
Ugh.
can hear us
Yeah, I
Who
don't know.
likes if it's human breast milk though?
bathing.
That's
in
true. Royalton can source anything. But yeah, they think they got it all locked up. We got the money. We got this merger. Our new race car is going to win, and it's going to drive the stock prices through the roof. We own the only factories making the capacitive premiums or whatever the hell it is. Like, we're going to get it all the money, baby.
Right.
Until surprise entrant, last minute, Speed Racer is now
What?
Loading
you can't
in.
do that? Oh, I don't know. This all checks out. This is an official invitation.
Well, otherwise, we'll have to cancel the Grand Prix and
Go,
do an
Speed Racer,
investigation.
go.
That's
then we
right.
get
So
it.
we get the epic climax of the movie, which is the Grand Prix race, which is incredible. Scene.
Yeah,
like
this
the
is
racing
great.
shots
Very
of this
cool.
are like the best part.
The callback talk at the top that the cars are alive. They're not dead pieces of metal. They're living, breathing machines. All you have to do is listen to them.
mm-hmm.
The car is like an extension of your body.
Right. No, and I love, we get all this stuff where we get Cannonball Taylor. He's trying to cheat. He uses the spear hook, as it's called, that we saw.
Yes.
Spritle
He's
saw
got
that
a
they had
spear
spear
hook.
hooks in the factory. So he points out, hey,
Yeah.
he's using a spear hook. And then Speed cleverly flips sideways to reveal the camera that the spear hook had been used to kind of discredit Royalton. And then, yeah, he's got to get his car started back up.
That's right.
And I like this
Give me back
exchange
this race.
where it's like between Pop and Ma, and he's like, "Is there anything we can do?" He's like, "I have a bypass. If he puts in a fifth gear, it can jumpstart the whole thing." Like, would Speed know that? Would Sparky?
So we jumped over the whole subplot that Rain lied and he isn't going to, turn in the evidence that he has and
Right.
not ruin Royalton. So that was Racer X's sort of like big whole subplot. And now that that's wrapped up, he's like, well, I guess I can wear a tuxedo and just watch the match.
He kind of feels bad about betraying them at the end because he even celebrates at the end when Speed wins. He's like, yeah,
You know what, Rick? Because he
Speed's
was
not so
trying to
bad.
go against the syndicates on his own. He believed in a pure form of racing. He was getting tired of doing their dirty work.
This film wraps up all of its subplots by going like, here's 3 newspaper headlines.
That's true. It really does.
That's literally at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Royalton arrested, maximum sentence. All right, the end.
Cheaters never win.
Rain speaks. Yeah.
Yeah, cheaters don't prosper.
Cheaters never prosper, magistrate says. Yeah.
But I love this montage. Once he gets the car back, he remembers what Rex told him, and then he's just in the zone, basically. He's flow state, doing his thing, and it's incredible montage.
His dad's saying the fucking whole thing about, like, the day your brother died where we were watching. And it's just the best thing that ever happened was me just sitting and watching racing with you. And again, I am crying watching this part. It is very effective.
Oh, I mean, when they won but got betrayed at Casa Cristo, and his dad's like, I'm proud of you for that. That was awesome. You like became a man. You beat everybody else on that track. It's like, but it didn't mean anything. It's like, that's the whole meaning of a father's life. I'm like, damn, John Goodman, you're going crazy right now. So we're getting the flashback to all these moments. They show the close up of the character and then the flashback of a meaningful moment they shared together. And it's just simple, but it's effective.
Like can you imagine if Danny LaRusso did the crane kick and it just kept cutting to Miyagi being like, wax on, wax off, and then like his mom being like, I've always loved you. And like, it's so, you almost wonder why every movie doesn't go like, yes, show the Oscar highlight reel as a montage as the last scene of the movie so that it sticks into your mind what great actors everyone in this film has been. It's genius. I love it.
And they're not even cutting, really. It's just like they're white panning montage, collaging through this.
It's not static. It's fluid, Mike. That's what's so cool about it too. Yeah.
Yeah, it just feels dynamic, like the race itself. Yeah, it's really good energy.
And Mike, you forgot about your favorite line when he's racing against Cannonball Taylor, and he says, "Get that weak shit off my track."
Yes, I love that, dude. I'm using that in real life now. Get that weak shit off my court. I'm using it when we talk about the NBA. Yes. Yeah, get that weak shit off my track. And they censored a swear word earlier. One of the announcers was like, holy shit, that's Speed Racer. But they censored that one so that Speed could say, get that weak shit off my track to get their lower rating. They can only get away with one.
That's like when you have one F-bomb you can use in like a PG-13. So they got to save it, but this is an S-bomb instead.
That's hilarious.
But I like it's very on brand for cartoon Speed Racer, not to say shit, but to have that attitude. Like, I'm not going to let you win no matter what you do. Like, he's very proud and like prideful.
Yeah.
Get that weak shit off my track. Lesson's over. That's very Speed. But yeah, then we get this crazy montage. The car grinding on its nose.
Climax of the movie.
Yeah, it's incredible when he hits checkered flags. I love this little ending here. But
absolutely. Milk.
Yeah, and then we get the milk. He kisses Trixie. We get a PSA from Spritle that says, "Hey, if you're allergic to cooties, don't watch this scene."
That's right. It pauses right before he dips her down. They're about to kiss. It pauses.
Yeah.
If you think we went through the plot of this episode too fast, just know that like there were 40 Spritle scenes that we didn't talk about.
Nope.
That's right, and we will right now. No.
Well, I have one I want to bring up.
Obviously, the best parts of the movie. Yeah.
Just it's not even because it's Spritle and Chim Chim, but it's right after the very first race, right? It cuts to the house, and Spritle and Chim Chim are watching anime, and then they're imitating the anime, and I feel like that's them saying, "This is what we're making. We're making an anime in live action.
That is a cool scene.
Buckle up." Yeah, like that's what you're watching now. So anyway.
Yeah, and to say so, basically, that's why I say it's like. It's a live action cartoon. Like it's the closest thing we've ever gotten. And with animation, what's great about animation that you can't always do in live action is you have control of the frame. Like you have total control, right? You can, whatever you're showing on frame is purposeful because you drew it that way. And like to go back to like, so like Sergei Eisenstein is like obsessed with Snow White because he was like, oh, like animation, like you can just has so much possibilities what you can do with animation. And I feel like that's the Wachowskis being like, we want to take animation and make it live action. And there's kind of been nothing like that since then. Like you
And
could say
that
like
is why you
Avatar
say
or whatever.
magnum opus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what they wanted to do with Matrix. And obviously the Matrix, the first one, is like a masterpiece, but it was still, they were technologically limited by when they made it, that even if they made it 10 years later, it would have been totally different. And that's what's so interesting is you have all these old directors like George Lucas, who's like, look, you don't understand. If CGI existed in the 70s, like Star Wars would have had all that shit to begin with. Like, I love all this shit that is in the prequels
Right.
and in
Like put
in
a
like
Glub
the
Shadow in there.
remasters where he adds all that. Yeah.
I want to use everything I can. It's
Right.
Yeah. And that's
Um,
so interesting that you have these older directors. There's like this difference between like younger people who like don't like an over reliance on digital technology because it can look cheaper. It can look bad. But to these guys that grew up in the 70s and 80s making movies practically, they're like, oh, I wish we had all this stuff. And it's so interesting to me now. And now you have someone like Steven Soderbergh, controversy recently where he's like, I like it. I like AI. Like I want to use AI as like a creative tool and stuff. And people are
means
like,
I can go faster.
no. Yeah.
No.
So it's a very interesting debate. Like I don't agree with him on that, but it's like he sees it as a tool to be utilized. And I don't know. It's just so interesting to me.
Right. And I guess it's like the reason I like this movie so much generally is it's about an artist wanting to create art in a system that generally would stifle it, and he finds a way to persevere and somehow just do what he loves, right? And like, is it a sports movie? Yes, but it's also a movie about an artist just expressing themselves, right, through drive.
Right.
You don't get in a T180 to drive. You do it because you're driven. That's a baller line, dude.
I like that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you say we could go down to Victory Lane? We could discuss some final thoughts on the Speed Racer 2008.
Guzzle that milk.
Get that milk, baby.
I'm just ranting about digital rain, a term that was invented by the Wachowskis. That's right. In a film called The Matrix.
Nice. Digital rain, and then we have regular rain in this movie.
That's right.
That's right.
We're back. Normies Like Us. We're talking all sorts of fun stuff because we're wrapping things up. Talking rain.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Speed Racer. We talked the film. We talked the franchise. Mike, you did a big deep dive into it.
Oh, yeah.
I would assume we'll never see anything to do with this again. Obviously, like we said, the movie was a huge bomb. I unless they reboot it again as a kids show, I don't know.
I know they did a Next Generation show that didn't do well. I don't know. Like, we probably won't.
Sure.
But never say never.
Mike, do you remember that Johnny Quest where he was like obsessed with like VR technology? Do you remember the Johnny Quest reboot cartoon?
Yeah, vaguely. Oh shoot. Yeah.
I guarantee there was a Speed Racer that was like, yeah, it's all about drones or something, and you're like,
yeah, it's on Netflix,
cool.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, sucks.
I think what's so interesting with Speed Racer too is that this was like the first, like you said, they were developing V for Vendetta. Didn't direct it, like you said, but it has a screenplay from them. But this is like their first big project post The Matrix. So like they're coming off this huge success of The Matrix, this like genre-defining trilogy. People are like, "What are you going to do next?" Well, we're going to make a live action Speed Racer movie, and it's going to look totally different than The Matrix in terms of color wise, stylistically, and everything. And to somehow get that sold to the studios where they got funding to make this movie, and then this is what they turn in, and like you said, didn't do well financially, unfortunately. I think it was just before its time, not marketed properly. But
Iron Man came out the week before.
Like, this is what we want to make.
Yeah, that's insane, Mike.
It kind of ate its lunch.
Dark Knight. I mean, it was a big year.
It was a tough year. Yeah.
Again, maybe the problem is that this movie came out in 2008, but it looks like a movie from like 2002.
It's giving
and
Spy
technology
Kids.
was just changing so rapidly.
So-
Yeah.
What you just said, Jacob, it would be like if Jacques Tati, a French filmmaker with a distinct visual style, made his first film, and people were like, "What are you going to do next?" And he's like, "I'm kicking some stuff around, but I'm probably going to adapt Tom and Jerry." It'd be like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, why are you using your blank check to do
Right.
that? Why Speed Racer?" And I think again for them, they're just like, I don't know, it's kind of a challenge, and it's a lot of stuff that we've been thinking about. I don't know.
This is what we love, and we wanted to make a kid-friendly movie after The Matrix, which isn't really kid-friendly. You know, it has more adult themes and stuff. But it's like, yeah, the studios were probably expecting something more along the lines stylistically of The Matrix, where it's sort of dark, leather, digital cyberpunk. You know, like it was so important, The Matrix, when it came out, and then it's like, yeah, we're gonna make Speed Racer with like the most garish colors you can imagine at times.
Yeah.
Like, again, it looks like Spy Kids at times.
Spy Kids is a great,
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what they wanted to make, and so I love that they just followed their vision, because I'm all for you know, when you talk about Hollywood capitalism versus art, you know, I'm always going to side on the side of the artist. And we don't like Royalton Industries here. You know, we say, F those capitalists.
So we say,
make what
get
your
that weak
heart
shit
inspires you to make.
off my track.
That's right.
That's my new favorite catchphrase.
That's why, even though if I don't totally love this movie at all times, I think there are, when it's hitting, again, it's really hitting. And I appreciate that it exists. It's a unique, idiosyncratic movie that everyone should see, I think.
Michael Giacchino's best score ever of his career. This is like this score is insane.
He's also taking the themes from the show and stuff too, and repurposing those. So yeah, so it's a little bit helped by that, but yeah.
He's adapting it though to have certain dramatic impacts. You know, it is from the show, which the lyrics for that were also written by our buddy Peter Fernandez. He translated that theme song. What a goat. The Japanese one is
this show is just a cash machine for him, is what you're telling me.
Basically, he had three friends.
Found a way to get paid in every role, yeah.
Correct. Sure. And then he had a cameo in this as one of the hometown Thunderhead announcers. But
I'll tell you why this movie is great too, because the thing that encapsulates it the most, I think, is when during the scene when Royalton CEO is giving his whole evil capitalist monologue and like, don't you understand? Blah, 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 blah. While that's happening, it cuts to Spritel and Chim Chim, who have just consumed a bunch of sugar candy and are going crazy on this golf cart, to soundtrack to the guitar solo of Freebird in this hallway. So it cuts
the
from
one needle drop.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's an incredible scene. And the video is sped up, and they're just like hyperactive.
They're spinning.
Yeah. Wild.
It's going on a rampage in the halls of this company.
Yeah, conversely, that is when this film doesn't work for me. I fucking hate those moments.
They do cut away from that.
But that's the dichotomy. Yeah. So you have these incredible racing scenes, and you have scenes like that as well. But that's what makes it unique.
But you get some incredible one-liners, like when they're watching TV and they switch it off the race to the chimpanzee show, and they're like, "What are you watching?" German. Not the monkey parts aren't.
Part.
Yeah, like that stuff's funny. Ananja is good.
It's his favorite show. Yeah,
his favorite show. After having consumed the entire cartoon, 52 episodes in this, like I just like how tonally it's bought in 100%. And even with the cartoon, the fast talking, because they're matching the Japanese language, like they had to add sentence filler and stuff. There's a line I want to do here when he's talking about why he's not joining the CIB. Like it's not for you, but he's like, I'm not doing this to help the CIB. I don't know anything about corporate crimes. Honestly, if it did, it wouldn't matter. I'm doing this because someone's trying to hurt my family and I'm going to hurt them back. Like that's a sentence that would be in the cartoon, and he delivers it so straight. It's great, but I don't know.
And that became sort of a cliche of English dubs of anime, where it's like in the anime they would say like a couple syllables, and then in English, no, you don't understand. I have to do this because of this, and blah blah blah.
You're telling me this is the thing?
Just to match mouth movements.
There's an episode that I recommend to everybody. It's called The Car Hater. There's this rich guy who only rides horses and he hates cars and he wants all cars to be destroyed.
Mike.
But there's a line when he's like, there's more and more accidents happening every day. I read about it in the newspaper every morning. Then it cuts to a scene of him reading newspaper. There's more and more accidents every day. It's like the exact same line.
Mike.
Incredible.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm going back.
Go watch
to
The Car
Chim Chim
Hater.
real quick. I'm thinking about the movie Nope, and I'm thinking about Chim Chim. I'm thinking about this chimpanzee shooting in front of this green screen all day.
Oh,
And they're
whoa.
flashing lights at him. How close that kid must have been like, hey, Chim Chim, you okay? You want another handful of candy for this next scene where it's like,
That's true. Maybe.
let me rip that face off.
Ooh, yeah, Nope has
That's why I was
changed.
surprised Bubbles never attacked anyone. Bubbles Jackson.
Bubbles. There was
Everybody was drinking the toilet water.
Let me go ahead and tell you, dog. Yeah.
John Lena said you were in there drinking the toilet
Talk
water.
to me. You talk to me. You talk to
Incredible
me.
sketch.
But
yeah,
yeah, but
Speed
that,
Racer.
the car hater episode, that just sounds like something that would be in a parody of an old
No.
anime, but
Buddy, Mike,
real.
yeah.
It's really, really funny. That's probably one of the best ones if you just want to see how absurd it is. But like, just see, there's a moment when Snake Oiler pulls out a gun because he's frustrated, and then it cuts to the team in the helicopter, and they're just like, "Gun!" And it's like this weird moment. But there's so many guns in Speed Racer. Like, this is so like true to form. Like, and Speed will be the first one to pick up a gun. If it's on the ground, he'll start shooting. He's not trigger shy. Like, he will stay strapped if he has to. That old Speed Racer. So, I don't know.
Wow.
Best live action anime. Watch the anime. It's fun. I do recommend it. Just start with The Car Hater, and you won't be able to stop.
I'm glad we did this. I hope it's making money now. Like, I hope its cult status is like making this re-release worth it. So
Yeah. Oh, also, you guys got to learn about the Car Acrobatics League. It's a whole arc. It's incredible.
Oh.
I don't know that I do need to know that, Mike.
Fair.
My time
appreciate
with
that you-
Speed might be coming to an end here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. As long as
I appreciate that
As long
you
as-
cared enough to go back and watch the whole show, though.
I just wanted to see what they were pulling from, and it is so, like you said, it's the best live action anime adaptation probably ever because it's so true to the tone of that
Think
show.
about Dragon Ball Evolution is like white dudes being like, Greg Goku, did you bring the USA Presents Dragon Ball? Like, they're so like ashamed of like what is Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
This is like, no, we are motherfucking Speed Racer. So you have
We're
to
not
live up to that.
mock go go go. We're American fucking Speed Racer, and we love it.
Fucking Speed Racer.
Yeah, and yeah, I love it for that. It's pretty cool. So
All right.
That's right.
Well,
Yep.
Jacob,
Well,
do
that's
you want to
Speed
tell us what we're doing next week? Do we know?
Oh, good question.
not catching on fire.
oh, yeah, next
hopefully,
Where are
week-
we in space and time?
Well, next week we will be talking about something that we just mentioned earlier. A new movie coming out called Mortal Kombat 2.
starring Musha Motors CEO.
Starring
You're
Cole
Hickey Sonata.
Combat, although I heard he's not as big a part of it now. My favorite character, Cole
I'm
Combat.
probably getting killed. It
Oh, he
seems
gets
like they're
fatalities.
Really retiring me.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Instead we have,
immediately.
Oi, it's
Oi.
me.
Blimey. What's this then? Some sort of Mortal Kombat, is it?
Shao Kahn done did it me wife, Huey. Yeah.
Boy, we're gonna get him back, ain't we, Yankas?
Well, some type of brutality is diabolical, Huey. Yep. So
So we have Mortal Kombat
I
2
can't
and
wait.
only in theaters, which if you remember the first one, it was the era of
another
post-pandemic
COVID drop.
HBO releasing all these movies straight to HBO Max. This time only in theaters. So we're gonna have to go in theaters to see this one, Mortal Kombat 2. Will it be better than the first one?
Will there be a menu at
Find
the
out.
Alamo? Who knows?
Yeah, I'm very excited to hear about that.
I'm gonna try to get the little
Pull out your phone
arcade
and build a
machine
movie.
popcorn bucket. I'll
Oh,
tell
they
you
got that
what.
one? Nice. That's cool. All right. Well, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat. So from an anime adaptation to a video game adaptation. Look at us go.
That's right. That's all that exists these days.
Yeah.
No, and we'll have a Street Fighter later this year, so we'll have to compare the two big fighting game movies.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got some other stuff coming up, of course. We've got new movies. We've got Mandalorian and Grogu. We've got Masters of the Universe. We've got The Boys Season 5.
Mm-hmm.
So lots to talk. And, of course, our new long-form series that we're starting this month, and that is X-May. X-May.
Nice. Have you tried not being a racer?
X-Main. That's right. So I'm very excited to talk about the first X-Men movie at the end of this month.
Yep. Same thing that happens to everything else. What happens when a toad gets struck by lightning? I'm very much looking forward to that as well. So
right,
good stuff on the horizon. Speaking of Halle Berry, right?
Yeah,
we love her.
All right, so keep tuning in. That is your ticket, Normies. Otherwise, we hope you are doing laps around us on the track as well. Checking us out at normies_like_us, where you can follow along with our ghost and try to race and see you beat them. If you don't, that's okay. You can leave us some ratings, reviews, and as we mentioned, subscribe. And check us out on YouTube.
That's right.
That's right.
And hosts.
And yeah.
All right. We've been your hosts. This is Racer Colin. Ding!
This is Mike Racer.
This is Here He Comes. Here comes Jake Racer.
Oh?
You better give this episode a like and a subscribe, and even if you don't, it will do you no good because you've already listened to the whole thing to this point. Catch you next time. Pose.
Hey.
Bye.